You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
Joining me in studio is friend of the show, Nick Pagliochini, as we get ready for not only Christmas, but New Year's. Maybe you want something to do Christmas evening and New Year's Eve. Well, Nick is the one to talk to.
Yes. So if you checked out Instagram earlier today, Nick Pagliochini, This Weekend with Nick, and also Later with Mo Kelly, you saw that I was in the heart of Hollywood. So I was trying to wrap up my Christmas shopping, and that's where we're going to start right now because if you're joining us on Instagram right now, we are Instagram Live at Nick Pagliochini, and I have a bit of a holiday situation, if you will, for the boys of Later with Mo Kelly, which would be Mo, Tawala, Mark, and Stefan. In this, well, that does not sound like Cole.
Are you rolling dice?
Yeah, it sounds more like we're going to Vegas, right, boys? But I have from Funko Hollywood a holiday gift for you guys. So reach inside, whoever wants to go first.
Is this like Flash Gordon?
It is a little bit. Well, yes. Nothing's going to bite back.
Okay.
This isn't like your Pretty Woman moment where I'm going to clap it down on you.
Okay.
Okay, reach inside one. Okay. Mark and Stefan, you guys will have to go next, but we'll figure that out on the break.
No, they can come over now. Mark ain't doing nothing.
Okay, Mark, come if you want.
Stefan ain't doing nothing.
So come,
bring your ass over there. We're going to see you.
So now you boys can open your Cole from Funko Hollywood.
Wait. We're going to do it all together. We got to wait for that.
Boys, come on.
Mark is just walking slow. All right, Stefan is now walking into the studio.
Anyway, if you are interested in getting some last-minute gifts, Funko Hollywood or Funko.com, 30% off all your holiday needs right now.
Okay. All right.
Also, last week when I was here for your holiday gift giving and also your goodies, Dry January discount available for you from Dry Kit. So if you want to celebrate with all the spirit without the spirits, we forgot to throw that in, but you can find on Nick Pagliochini and This Week of Nick on Instagram. Boys, here, reach in. Grab yourself some coal.
All right. Fear is the mind killer.
You're fine. Oh, just put your hand in. It's not going to bite hard.
Is the mind killer.
All right. Now open your guys' coal. This is one of the many things that you can get at Funko Hollywood or Funko.com.
30%. It's not easy to open.
Right, I know. So the boys are now opening
No,
one of these blind.
You have to tear it on the tear block.
The blind gifts that you can get.
Oh,
so these ones are themed to Star Wars. You can also get ones that are themed to Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, which is celebrating its 60th anniversary.
Oh, I got Darth Maul.
I got Vader.
Okay. So we got two Darth Mauls, a Vader, and a...
Oh, I got a Boba Fett.
Oh, okay. Well, y'all boys can fight amongst yourselves how that's going to go.
I'm
there's some last minute Christmas
awesome.
shopping for you. But I'm going to jump right into things to do for New Year's Eve. So if you've only got about a week left to figure out your holiday shopping. I've got a couple of discounts for you. Check out the link in bio at Nick Pagliochini. This week with Nick. Got the hookups for you there for discounts. All right, let's move over to what you can do for New Year's Eve. So a week from tonight is Christmas Eve, and a week after that is New Year's Eve. We're already there, kids. The end of the year is already upon us. So you got the usual suspects if you want. Disneyland will be open until 2 a.m. You know that's
on Christmas Eve?
On Christmas Eve, so into Christmas Day. 2 a.m. I know, it'll be great.
Is that different?
Wow.
It is different because they usually shut down at midnight, and then they keep it open shopping till 1 a.m. So you'll be able to do it until 2 a.m. to celebrate. So they'll keep it shopping until about 3 a.m. and then they'll kind of filter you out. Wow. So you got that for Disneyland. Knott's Berry Farm also will be offering special holiday things. And if you're wanting to be in the heart of Hollywood, one of my favorite things, it's been a few years since I've done it, is Eve at Universal Studios Hollywood, which is just goes off with fireworks and everything else. You get to experience Super Nintendo World for the holidays. You get to experience everything at Hogwarts and the Wizarding World. You get Grinchmas. You get all the holiday things there. If you're looking to get out of town, you can always head to Buena Park, obviously. I mean, that's not really that far out of town, but Knott's Berry Farm has some great options for you as well. And then down to San Diego. Also, for my favorites, if you're looking to go someplace with the kids, they do a kids' a kids' New Year's Eve, which means that very, very early on, they do a countdown at Legoland in Carlsbad. So you don't even have to go all the way down to San Diego proper.
Okay.
So, and that one is usually in the afternoon. So again, all the details you can get at Nick Pagliochini and This Weekend with Nick on Instagram. But that is an option for you, or down to SeaWorld. They'll have a New Year's Eve celebration, which is incredible. And then if you're looking for something for a really big bang out in the Inland Empire, you can have Countdown New Year's Eve Invasion, which will be happening at the San Bernardino Nas Event Center. That goes off every year. Also at the LA Convention Center, you'll have Forever Midnight going on. And then one of my favorite things is a huge event, and I've been to many times, is the Queen Mary in Long Beach. They will be having, once again, it's been a few years, they will have their epic New Year's Eve celebration. There's lots of things. You can always check out queenmary.com as well to find for that. So that's a lot of the big major things. There's so much else going on. I mean, Pappy and Harriet's, if you want to go all the way out to Pioneer Town and Joshua Tree, they've got stuff going on. Santa's Village up in Arrowhead and, up at Rim of the World. If you
Did
really
you ever
want
go to Santa's Village, Twala?
Tried to go up there, but there was some type of fire that was happening up. It was like right around the fire, the mudslide. One of those things that was happening up there that shut it down and we couldn't go.
I always wanted to go as a kid.
It's fun.
I want to go as an adult and take my.
I think we should go. And the thing that's fun about it is it's Sky Park at Santa's Village now, and they have offerings year round. So when Santa is done with the season, he usually goes and heads back up north. But his brother, who runs the North Pole while he's out of town and bringing gifts around to the world, actually runs the shop when he's back up in the North Pole. So there's so much going on there. They have bike riding, mountain biking. They have the new bee attraction, which is actually you get to go around. Wow. If you're watching us on Instagram Live, you can see the lights are
flickering.
We're having the Ghosts of Christmas Past, Present, and Future visit us here at the KFI studios. What is going on?
I don't know. We're having a brownout or something.
We sure are.
Yeah.
Okay. Even with this beautiful Aldecombe tree in the background on Instagram. Anyway, but you can check that out. That's something. So Santa's Village, Sky Park at Santa's Village is open year round. So as opposed to when we were kids and it was just something you did
3
for the
weeks
holidays.
or something.
Correct. Now you can go year round, and they've got amazing things that are going on all year round up there. So I highly recommend it. They also do a lot of adult things, which is kind of funny to think.
I was wondering.
They do.
Okay.
So they do have a great bakery. You can meet Santa and Mrs. Claus, but you also can do axe throwing. You can do the mountain biking thing. They've got a lot of more adult 21 and over geared toward events for that. But yeah, and then also if you're looking for some things that are a little bit closer to home, we can talk about that next. Yeah.
On the other side.
On the other side.
We got Nick Pagliochini in studio getting ready to kill all our power, I guess, because he hooked up his...
I was like, I didn't realize Instagram Live was taking this much.
He was taking all the power because we're getting ready to have a blackout up in here in just a moment. KFI AM 640, we're live everywhere, the iHeartRadio app.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
Mo Kelly and Nick Pagliochini as we give you some last second suggestions how you can ring in the new year or even just the holidays in general.
Well, one of the things I would recommend is Prime Pizza in Burbank, which is how we rung in the night tonight.
Yes, sir.
That is something we have been doing since the inception of Later with Mo Kelly back in 2023. And we love you guys very much on Hollywood Way, not too far away from the studio here. You can check them out on socials. I think it's Prime Pizza LA, at Prime Pizza LA on Instagram. We've tagged them, and you can see on Nick Pagliochini This Weekend with Nick, also Later with Mo Kelly, and see all the delicious pizza, vodka pizza, and meat lovers and all the fun Brooklyn squares that we had. Anyway, but jumping back into it for what we've got for you. So if you're looking for something that's a little different, if you're familiar with burlesque and if you're familiar with a striptease, Dita Von Teese, who is usually has a residency or has had a residency up until now in Vegas, she'll be in downtown LA with a special show on Tuesday the 31st at 9 o'clock. So you can book tickets at the Orpheum and be able to enjoy that. That's a great time. Also, if you're looking for a little cumbia action, there's Gothic Cumbia New Year's Eve, and that's only $10. So, going back to the old school This Weekend with Nick, we like to keep it last minute and, free 99 or keep it as inexpensive as possible.
If you can find anything inexpensive on New Year's Eve,
Correct.
You are doing something right.
Exactly. So you, again, can check out Nick Pagliochini This Weekend with Nick on Instagram. The link in bio has all the information for you here. But the Regent Theater in LA, $10, get you in the door for your Goth Cumbia New Year's Eve celebration. Also in downtown LA, Clifton's. If you're not familiar with Clifton's and have not visited, it's worth visiting just in general, but they've got a New Year's Eve Metropolis Ball that'll be going on. And also, if you're a fan, Morrissey has a special show. He is in town anyway, but he has added a special show at the Palladium on Tuesday the 31st, just for you to be able to book. That's on Eventbrite. If you're looking for a new way to celebrate, in fact, maybe you're trying to get a jump on your fitness and maybe fitness goals for the new year, Top Golf over in El Segundo is actually going to be ringing in the new year with Swing Into the New Year at Top Golf, and they will be having...
That's not free.
That's not free. But I have to say, this is one of the most unique things that I've seen. So they'll be having live DJs. They will have a toast at midnight. They will have surprises. They've got a curated buffet, whatever that means. But yeah, so El Segundo, if you've not checked it out, it's very, very cool. That'll be going until 1 o'clock in the morning. So you can get the information on that, but you actually can reserve a bay. It's a really cool venue.
It's a really cool venue. It's a good place to have an outdoor party.
It is. And I think it's really fun. And even if you're not a golfer, it's worth going and picking it up. Going and hanging out.
Especially if you're under the influence.
No, yes. Or you can hit up Dry Kit and bring some no octane booze with you. All right, let's move into the free 99. If you want to stay not too far away from a Topgolf, actually Marina Del Rey will be having their yearly New Year's Eve fireworks and glow party. That is free 99, and you can visit that at Burton Chase Park, which is down at the LA Marina. Also, back over to my neck of the woods, lots of viewing for the fireworks in the Long Beach Harbor area. That's always good. Plus, they'll be having things that'll be firing off from the Queen Mary. So even if you're not going to the incredible party that'll be happening on board the Queen Mary, you'll be able to enjoy some of the fireworks from that. Gloria Molina Grand Park New Year's Eve LA Countdown. If you've not done it before, that is free 99. That is happening once again this year.
How many years have they done that now?
It's been...
Is it 10 yet?
10 years?
Yeah.
Ish. I know we had a little lull because of the social distancing and everything with the pandemic, but I want to say close to 10 years. They are celebrating the 60th anniversary of the Music Center in downtown. But I don't know specifically on what the breakdown is on that. If I find it, I'll throw it on social media. You know how we roll. Also, in Orange County, First Night Fullerton is an event that's been happening for years, and that will be free 99 for you to go and check out. The only thing is, it's kind of like a carnival, so they do have carnival tickets for you to go on rides and play carnival games. That costs money, but attending the event itself is no cost. And then, like I tapped on, there's some other places you can go. You can do Pappy and Harrods out in Joshua Tree, and there's so much else going on. So the Southland really has a lot to offer you. I highly encourage you, again, visit Nick Pagliochini, This Weekend with Nick on Instagram. Both of those have lots of resources as the link in bio. Also, I always tag Later with Mo Kelly with all the details, so you can definitely follow from Later with Mo Kelly on Instagram and get all the 411.
You have to describe not only your sweater, but your hat.
So two things. I love a good ball cap, if you know me, and I do love a Spirit jersey. Now, my cap is from New Era, which is not based here in Los Angeles, but New Era always does a holiday drop. And so this is from last year, and this is actually a Santa Claus with all the reindeer on it. So it looks like something that you should just be able to pick up at your local ballpark. But in fact, it's one of Gary Hoffman's favorite hats, and he's tried to jack it from me at a party that we were all at.
Did you have to beat him down?
I did, and that's why we all disappeared at that one party that we were all at. Which is really funny because his wife was there and was like, "Where's my husband?" But anyway, and then the shirt that I have is actually a Spirit jersey, which is based out of downtown Los Angeles. It's one of the brands that I work with here and have for a good long time. You can also see them at Disneyland and Knott's Berry Farm and so many other places. But it is a knit shirt, long sleeve, but it's definitely for Southern California. And a Spirit jersey, if you're not familiar, again, is kind of like that Southern California sweatshirt or sweater. And across the back, it says, "This is my ugly Christmas sweater."
But you're beautiful, though.
Thank you. I appreciate it. As are you, sir.
Are you going to be joining us every week now?
Pretty much. I will be taking a hiatus. I'm not going to lie. As many listeners to here in our sister station, Coast 103.5, know, I lost my father in the beginning of August of this year, and that has been challenging for our family. And so I will be taking off Christmas and New Year's, and I'm spending that with the family. Especially enjoyed Thanksgiving, and a lot of you really enjoyed some of the fun, silly pictures from San Diego with my mom and our matching Christmas pajamas or Thanksgiving pajamas and the inflatable turkey leg and slices of pie and everything else, silly things that we had there. So you will be able to see me on social media. Again, Nick Pagliochini and This Weekend with Nick and all my shenanigans over the next 2 weeks. But in the new year, I will definitely be back to bring you What's Up with Nick here on Later with Mo Kelly.
Well, since you broached the subject, I have missed you, my brother, and I'm sorry to say that you have unfortunately joined this club.
I have unfortunately joined this club. So the beginning of December was the end of almost 18 years with iHeartRadio. And so it is something that has affected a large number of folks here. We're well aware with the KFI newsroom and many, many people, not just here with KFI, but a lot of our sister stations. We have 8 stations within our cluster here for iHeartRadio Los Angeles. And a lot of us were affected. And so it's been a challenge going into the holiday season.
Well, that's one of 2 clubs I was referring to. We never got to talk about when you lost your father. I reached out to you, but I understood you can't talk to everyone.
Right.
You don't want to talk to everyone.
It's not like a wedding or a birth.
No.
Those are the things you make announcements, you post it on social media. And some people choose to share passing of loved ones and really put that out there. But for me and for my family, especially because I choose to live very open and very transparent and very vulnerable. That doesn't mean my mom wants to do it. That doesn't mean my family wants to do it. And I respect those wishes. And so, being able to share the fact of the passing of my father and, that experience, that's definitely, I guess there's a lot of loss this year that's been happening. But thanks to people like you and shows like Later with Mo Kelly and the family here with Tuala Sharp and Mark Ronner and Stefan Cabeza, and being able to, have really incredible relationships with people in general. Because I think that's the thing that I've loved about my 18 years in radio, even though I'm kind of talking about 2 deaths now, is that I've been incredibly lucky and I have had, a career. And I look forward to continuing that career, whether it be with iHeartRadio or wherever I land. And for the time being, thank you for opening the doors.
Oh, you're not going anywhere.
Later.
No. We're not going to let you out of this place. Don't even put that out there.
No, I understand that. Yeah. But at this point in time, I mean, I think I have been so lucky and have been so privileged to be a part of the KFI family. And that includes you who are riding in your car right now or listening to us wherever you are around the country or around the globe on the iHeartRadio app, and being a part of the KFI family and being a part of us, because we would not be here if it wasn't for you. So thank you for listening.
Nick, we'll see you soon. How about that?
That sounds great. And Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
This won't do. We've no guns, no ammo. What's an armed robbery if you're not even armed?
I think that's just called a robbery, Jimmy.
And how can I help you today, sister?
Have you got a gun there?
No.
We can see our guns sticking at the table there. Is that a spud gun?
It's not the size of the gun that matters, it's how you use it.
Not my experience.
Listen up! We are liberating funds for the Irish Republican Army. Mother Superior.
This is just the beginning. Just the beginning.
Joining the IRA was the noblest thing a person could do. The goal was to kill as many soldiers and as many policemen as possible.
I would die for a united Ireland. And we're ready for our next assignment.
No balls on that we got.
KFI AM 640. It's Later with Mo Kelly. We are live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. Spanning 4 decades, Say Nothing explores the tumultuous period in Northern Ireland known as the Troubles. The series opens with the shocking disappearance of Jean McConville, a single mother of 10 who was abducted from her home in 1972, yet never seen again. Through the eyes of various IRA members, Say Nothing explores the extremes and violence some chose in the name of their beliefs. Say Nothing is a 9-part drama now streaming on FX and Hulu. It's my pleasure to welcome series creator and executive producer Joshua Zetumer, who joins me now on the show. Joshua, thank you for coming on tonight. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you very much for having me.
The Troubles were an ethno-nationalist conflict in Northern Ireland that lasted about 30 plus years from the late 1960s to 1998. We here in the States probably didn't understand that conflict. We didn't have the internet. We didn't have cable TV. We had limited interaction with it. How would you describe it from at least a high altitude?
Yeah, absolutely. So Northern Ireland is a deeply polarized society. You've got Catholics on one side, the Protestants on the other. The Protestants historically in the late 60s, when the Troubles was getting started, Protestants had most of the privilege. The Catholics were kind of second-class citizens. And the Protestants were sort of proxies for the British, right? The British had been in Ireland for hundreds of years, and the British really controlled the top part of Ireland, Northern Ireland, during this time. And they had sort of put the Protestants there to maintain control. And what happened in the late 60s was there was a lot of simmering tension. It finally exploded in 1969 into a violent conflict where it was neighbor against neighbor, Catholic against Protestant, and the violence lasted for 30 years. And there was various paramilitary groups at the center of it, both on the Catholic side and on the Protestant side. And on the Catholic side, predominantly Catholic, you had the IRA, the Irish Republican Army, who were fighting to get the British out and to reunite the country. It's an intensely complicated history, but if you were to relate it to America, you would sort of we have a deeply polarized society over here. This is sort of a cautionary tale, right? This is what happens when you let those divisions fester and explode and sort of go off a cliff into a violent conflict.
Say Nothing is not a documentary. It is a dramatized series. And I wonder, how do you go about adapting historical events for the screen? You're also a co-writer of the 2016 movie Patriots Day, starring Mark Wahlberg, surrounding the Boston Marathon bombing. How do you go about crafting these stories while remaining true to the documented history and not also anger people who are emotionally connected to it?
I mean, very carefully and very sensitively, I think is the answer. With this, I'm an American, as you can tell from my accent. I'm not from Northern Ireland. I've spent some time there, but I really tried to do it as sensitively and carefully as I could. I did a years-long research process in adapting this book and bringing it to the screen, that went beyond the four corners of the book. I read every autobiography, every biography I could about everybody involved. I read everything I possibly could about the Troubles, watched every documentary I could, and interviewed people, did my own interview process, which is really the best thing you can do as an outsider. And then I also really tried to listen. We had a cast, a lot of whom were from Belfast, many of whom were Irish. And if people had an issue with a piece of dialogue or an event that was being portrayed or whatever it was, I really made sure to listen. I did not want to come in like some egotistical American saying like, this is the way it's got to be. I really tried to be a good collaborator. That was the only way to make it honest and truthful.
Who was Jean McConville? And what was her significance to the wider conflict?
So Jean McConville is a widowed mother of 10 who was abducted by IRA members in front of her children. She disappeared, vanished without a trace, and the family had no idea what happened to her. And they were left with 30 years of uncertainty. And now her abduction, because of the children, because of the people involved, was one of the most notorious crimes of the Troubles. And it's hard to quantify wrongdoing, right? It's hard to say this is worse than that. But this abduction, because it changed so many lives, really was one of the most notorious crimes that happened during that era. And as you're watching the series follows two sisters who radicalize and join the IRA in their youth, Dulles Price, Marion Price. And, you're watching this series, watching these young girls go from being activists to joining the IRA, picking up guns, trying to change the world, thinking violence is the only way to do it. And as you're watching the show, you sort of start to get the inkling that one of them, Dulles Price, may have had something to do with this kidnapping of this widowed mother of 10. You're not really sure how. And that's the sort of mystery at the center of the show. It's what the show's about. And it's a show that really asks, how far would you be prepared to go for your beliefs?
There's an old saying that one man's terrorist is another's freedom fighter. What was life like in both Great Britain and Northern Ireland for ordinary citizens, given this specter of violence, given that there were bombings, that there were kidnappings? How would you characterize that?
Well, it really depends on who you ask. As you said, I mean, there are people who were supporting the IRA, who were letting members of the IRA fight out of their homes. It was a conflict that was happening on city streets. So imagine a war happening in like downtown. You have these guerrilla fighters who are getting in gun battles with the British, these men and women who are armed with like guns left over from World War II that don't work, who are fighting against British soldiers in tanks, essentially. And then they would dart into somebody's home and just, sit there in the parlor for a little bit, catching their breath before like going back out and continuing to fight. And it was an intensely traumatic period for a lot of people involved, right? You think about the people who were living in those homes and doing the fighting, and like tons of people were traumatized for it. And at the same time, Dulles Price, who's like, one of our lead characters, talks about it being kind of exhilarating at the same time. And what the show is really trying to do is capture both the romance of radical politics and also the cost of those politics. So you see the kids kind of fighting in the streets, and you see the adults years later the same characters in middle age having to grapple with those decisions they made when they were in their 20s, when they were teenagers.
This series, Say Nothing, as my time winds down with you, this series, Say Nothing, has been widely praised by both critics and audiences as to its accuracy and intensity. Once again, all episodes are now available on FX and Hulu. But have there been any ill feelings expressed to you over the dramatization of this very dark period in history? I know that 1998 was not that long ago in the grand scheme of things. And I know that there may be lingering feelings about this. Was there any point where you felt that some of the lingering emotions were dredged up?
To film the show, we had to create a set, like a backlot, that looked like Belfast in the early 70s. And we had one person come onto the set. The set was so accurate that, he almost felt like he was re-traumatized, just going back to those streets, back to the rubble on the ground and the smashed windows. It really gave him a sense memory of being in Belfast back in the early 70s. And I think that was quite powerful. And look, as far as people's feelings towards the show, I know that we can't please everyone. Inevitably, a story that's this sensitive, that's this political, that's a true story is gonna, not everybody's gonna like it. But I think the one thing that has been overwhelmingly positive is that the majority of the response has been people saying that we got it right. And that, to me, feels really impactful.
Joshua Zetumer is the series creator and executive producer of Say Nothing, a 9-part series, which is available. All episodes are available right now on Hulu and FX. Josh, this is our first conversation. I've long admired your work going back to even RoboCop in 2014. Thank you so much for coming on tonight.
Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it.
It's Later with Mo Kelly, KFI AM 640. We are live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
You're listening to Later with Mo Kelly on demand from KFI AM 640.
Before we get out of here, they dropped the trailer today for the upcoming Karate Kid Legends movie. Now, I've been ambivalent. I've loved Cobra Kai, how they have reintroduced the whole Karate Kid franchise to the world, told new stories, got the whole old gang back together for the most part. Just about every significant character in the Karate Kid universe has taken a bow at some point during the Cobra Kai series. And it has generated enough interest for a new full-blown movie starring Ralph Macchio and also Jackie Chan. You may remember Jackie Chan was a co-star to Jaden Smith in, I think it was the 2013 edition of The Karate Kid, which took place in China with Kung Fu. Kind of confusing, but nevertheless, Will Smith and his company had purchased the rights, all things Karate Kid. He produced that movie. His company has produced Cobra Kai. His movie production company is producing this Karate Kid Legends movie. Here is the trailer.
Our traditions are rooted in history. Kung Fu, karate. The tree grows strong.
You knew Mr. Miyagi?
I did not come looking for Sensei Miyagi. I came looking for you. In life, you have only one question. Is it worth fighting for it? Or not? Lee means to me what you meant to Sensei Miyagi.
I'm doing this for all of us. Whatever it takes. Two branches. One tree.
So you obviously can't see the trailer. Jackie Chan is throwing down in the movie. Ralph Macchio is throwing down in the movie. They're introducing this new actor who's not an actor, from what I understand. He's just a straight-up martial arts prodigy, Ben Wang. They're kind of addressing my issue. You know, you can't call it the Karate Kid when you're doing kung fu. And they're setting up, this is two branches of one tree. They have some sort of shared history, which is connected to Miyagi, which is the backstory. We don't know what that is, but it probably lends very nice. It probably leads very nicely into whatever the Miyagi series is going to be.
Yes, absolutely. And I love that this is set far enough after the season or series finale of Cobra Kai. So this is set, I believe, a few years after the series finale, giving enough time for there to be some space and us to breathe a little bit from the events of Cobra Kai, which they have promised. The cast, crew, and creators have promised a very satisfying finale. They said that everything we saw in this last series, and they said this, quote, believe it or not, all of that will make sense in this final arc. And I'm like, okay, I've already gone this far. I might as well stay on board. But I like this trailer a lot.
I do too.
I like this
really
trailer. To me, it gives me everything I wanted from Cobra Kai, and it makes sense of why Will Smith did the Jackie Chan, Jaden Smith film, and not letting that just be a throwaway. It's all part of the same universe.
And you could tell by tonality, it's a serious movie. It's not a silly one. They're not going for laughs. I'm quite sure there's some humor in it. All the Karate Kid movies have humor in it, but this seems like the stakes are higher.
Yeah. Yeah. And as promised from this trailer, there is some real martial arts happening. Real. I don't know if they sped up Ralph Macchio's fighting, but he looked good in the trailer. I think that this new kid who has a background in taekwondo, in Wing Chun, in jiu-jitsu, he is a well-rounded martial artist, and he's like, that's why I was picked for the film. Not because of my acting. I was picked because I am an actual martial artist, serious to the bone, and I look good on camera. Damn it, this is the Karate Kid. This is a dream come true.
Right. And it's set to come out May 30th. So basically it's kicking off the summer season. It's right at the end of the school year. It's perfectly situated to be a massive hit. And if, to your point, Tuala, the Cobra Kai series can be that launch pad, I would love it if Jackie Chan made a quasi cameo at the end of Cobra Kai to just let people know that this is going to lead to that. It'd be great.
Why not? Absolutely. This absolutely can, because it's directly connected. It's not like, I know that you used to. No, it's Miyagi is name dropped in the trailer.
Yeah.
It is part of a continuation of a story we were just introduced to. I'm ready for this.
KFI AM 640. We're live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
KFI is literally the KFI of talk radio. KFI.
And KOST HD2.
Los Angeles, Orange County.
Live.